Hey, it's Vicky and I'm here with another vlog for you guys, and this time around I wanted to do a vlog that's centered around series September, which is a month-long read-a-lot, not really read-a-thon, but I guess just like a reading event that Krista from Books and Jams and Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand are putting on throughout the whole month of September. And basically the goal is to just read books that are from series. And yeah, I have a stack of those, so I definitely wanted to take part because I would love to knock out some of these books. Especially there's a couple that I read, like the last book in the series or the first book in the series or whatever, like it's been a couple years and I haven't continued. And so this is like a good motivator for me. Okay, so like I said, I have a big, oh my Lord, I have a big stack. And I wanted to, you know, the goal is to get through, I want to say at least half of these, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I can get through like 3 or 4 of these, I feel like that's a great goal. So yeah, basically the first one I know for sure I'm gonna read is, I mentioned in my September TBR video, because it's from the library, it's Heartstopper Volume 2. I just read Heartstopper Volume 1 in August and I really enjoyed it. It was really good and I want to continue with the series. And so since this is a library book, I have to get it back in somewhat of a timely fashion. So I will definitely be reading this one. And then I have a couple, because I know I don't have the bingo board handy, but I know one of the prompts for the bingo board that Sarah and Krista created that you don't have to follow, but I might maybe throughout the vlog use it to guide me. I'm not sure, but I know one of the things is to start a series, and I actually have 2. Yes, I have 2 books that are the first book in a series. So I have Pines by Blake Crouch, and this is a trilogy, I think. I've had this book for, it's probably like 4 years. Haven't read it, obviously. And yeah, so I definitely want to read this. It's about, I think it's about like a guy who goes to a town because he's like looking for a missing person or something, and the town's really weird. I don't know. But I love Blake Crouch. I don't know why I haven't read this. The other one that's like a first in a series is the Wayward Children series by Shauna McGuire. So I have Every Hearted Doorway. This one really, the premise just is so interesting to me. And all of the covers in this series are so pretty and eye-catching. All of the books are short. And it's basically about kids that go to various like magical lands, like something like Wonderland or Narnia, places like that, and they come back to like the real world and they're having a hard time coping. So like they go to this school, I think, where there is there are other children like them. I don't know. It sounds cool. I love that idea because I love the idea of going to magical worlds and then coming back, because you always are kind of curious, like what happened to those kids, you know? So this is definitely a possibility. Highly intrigued by that. Then I have a couple that are second books in a series that I haven't checked out before. The first one is Patina. This is the second book in the Track series by Jason Reynolds. It's middle grade. And it seems like I think every book focuses on a different member of the track team. And yeah, I loved the first book, Ghost. It was fantastic. So I definitely want to get to this one. The other second one is Pray for Silence, which is the second book in the Kate Burkholder detective series. This is a really long series. I want to say it has like 13 or 14 books now. But I really enjoyed the first book. I thought it was really good. And I've had this one for a while. I don't know why I haven't continued sooner. Because what's interesting about this one is the detective, she is, I don't think she's a detective. I think she's the chief of police. But she is the chief of police in an area, in an Amish community. And she was actually once part of that community and left and is now the chief of police. So that kind of makes it different. Then the other ones, is this the second one? Yeah, this is the second one. Thunderhead, the second in the Arc of the Scythe series, which this series is super cool, super unique. I've had this book I know I've had for like 2 years. I read Scythe 2 years ago and immediately bought this book because I'm like, oh, I definitely want to keep going. I'm going to keep going like right now. 2 years later, haven't. But this one's really cool. It's about, it's like, it takes place in the future and they've basically eliminated death. And, but to control the population, they do have to like permanently kill people, and they have these scythes that do it. And the series follows a couple of kids who are apprentices learning to become scythes. It's really cool. So this is one I definitely want to get to if I can this month, because I've had it for such a long time. And there's been such a big gap between when I've read the first book and this book that, yeah, it's been too long. And then I also have, this is the third book in the Nevermore series, Hollowpox. I love this series. It's so fun. I actually just read the second book a couple months ago. And the fourth book comes out, I think, in October. So this would be a good prompt for if I'm going back to the bingo board. I think it's to like complete a series or get caught up. This would be great for that because I would technically be caught up then. And then the last one is a graphic novel series that I've been reading for a while. And this is another one that it's been at least a year since I read the last volume, but this is American Vampire Volume 5. And this is a really cool series too, because it's about like this different breed of vampire that comes out of America. And what makes it cool is every volume kind of takes place in a different decade or era of America. So it's kind of cool. So like this one, if I'm guessing, it probably takes place in the 50s or 60s, which I love the 60s. So yeah, that's my stack. I'm not gonna read all of these books. I mean, there's no way. I can't read all these books in 1 month, but Heartstopper Volume 2 is definitely gonna happen. And then, so, okay, today's Friday, the 2nd. I am heading out of town. The family, we are going on vacation. We are going to Port Austin in Michigan. So like if you're looking at a map, it's like the tip of the thumb. And we're going there for the weekend because it's a holiday weekend and school starts on Tuesday. So it's kind of our last hurrah for summer. So I definitely need something I can listen to on audio and something I can read like on the beach. So I think right off the bat, audio, I know I can get this from my library, is Hollowpox. And I actually listened to the second book in this series and really liked it. So I liked the audiobook narration. So I think this will be my audiobook that I'm gonna start with. It's kind of long because this is like, how long is this book? It's like over 500 pages. But anyways, it's a fun time, so I'm not worried about it. And then I think just when I was just going through the books just now, the one that I was really like, ooh, and I think would be great for like just like a weekend read because it's short. I think I'm gonna go with Every Heart a Doorway because, like I said, this will knock out, like start a new series on the bingo board. It's short. I should be able to finish it no problem while we're away. And yeah, I think this is it. So I'm gonna start the vlog with these two books. And yeah, we're gonna be leaving. We have to leave in like an hour and a half and I am not packed yet. I don't know what's going on. This vacation like snuck up on me somehow and I'm like way behind. So yes, I am going to finish packing. We need to get out the door and I'll probably do a check-in once we are in our cabin. right, so we have made it to our vacation destination. The place is really cute. You can kind of see there's a fun, like, swirly staircase that goes up to a loft, and the kids have just been loving like playing up there, and their bed is up there. So it's like their own little space. It's really cozy and cute, and we're a like 2-minute walk to the beach, so it's great. It's a great way to like finish up summer, you know. So on the way here, I did start Hollowpox. I listened to the first 3 chapters, so like 50 pages, and I really like it so far. I love how in this series, you are slowly learning more and more about Nevermore and like just the inner workings of it, because you're kind of learning it along with Morrigan. And now that she's on like her 2nd year of school, she is learning some more of like the secrets of this place, and it's cool. I think this is going to be a really cool story. I'm not going to say too much about it because I don't want to spoil things for people, and this is the 3rd book, so yeah. And the audiobook narration is really good. It's the same narrator that's done all of them. Gemma Whelan, I can't remember how you say her last name, but she does a great job. So yeah, this is going to be like my audiobook, first one for the month. And then I did decide to bring Every Heart a Doorway with me because this is a really short book. It's less than 200 pages. Yeah, it's like 160 pages or something. So it's super short. So I'm hoping to start this one either today or tomorrow. And it's the first in what is now, I don't even know how many books are in this series, but I've heard great things about it. I don't know. We'll see how this one goes. It sounds very promising. So yeah, that's pretty much my update. We're just like gonna just be chilling on the beach all day because tomorrow it's actually supposed to get a little bit chilly, so we don't know how much beach time we'll have tomorrow. So yeah, our plan is to basically sit at the beach all day. And so I'm gonna just read and soak up the sun and just chill. So the weather has definitely taken a turn. It is cold and windy, but I wanted to give you a reading update while I walked the beach, even though it's windy and cold. So I am halfway through Every Heart a Doorway, and I really like it. It's a lot darker than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be very like whimsical, magical, and it does have a bit of that, but it's also pretty dark, like, because some of these worlds that these kids go to are dark places. But that doesn't mean they're bad places. And there's been a death by one of the characters, has just been, I'm assuming, killed by someone. So there's like, now there's like a mystery element, but the whole thing is just really cool. Like it has like the magical school elements, interesting characters, and I am interested to see like where the series is gonna go, because the books are all pretty short, and from what I remember, each book sort of talks about, like, focuses on a different character. So I'm kind of curious what book 2 is gonna do, obviously once I finish book 1. So yeah, I have not listened to Hollowpox anymore since we got here. The last time I listened to it was in the car. So but we are leaving tomorrow, heading home so the kids can start school. So I'll probably listen to Hollowpox on the way home, and I will definitely finish Every Heart a Doorway either tonight or tomorrow. So yeah, our vacation is coming to an end, but it was great. Yesterday was very sunny. It was a great beach day. I'm glad we got to do that. And today it's just kind of been cozying up by a fire, hanging out, playing board games, that kind of stuff, which is still, in my eyes, a pretty good vacation. So not a bad way to end the summer. But yeah, I'm going to continue my walk, and I'll probably check in with you again once I'm home. Hey, so I have an update. I finished Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna McGuire, and this is kind of an unpopular opinion, because I gave this 3 stars. I think this book was a little bit, dare I say, hyped up in my mind. I have heard amazing things about this book and the series, and though I can see why a lot of people absolutely adored this, it just didn't quite wow me like it did everybody else. What I did like in here was that you have these characters who are outcasts. They feel different. They are different. They don't feel like they're understood. And that's a huge reason why they're at this school, is because they've gone to these magical places and those places have changed them in one way or another. And they just are struggling to be understood. And at this school, they get that acceptance because everybody's in the same boat. And I think anybody that as a kid, and even adults who as kids felt, or even kids now, who feel out of place, who feel like they are outcasts, will really relate to these characters. And I think I certainly did on some levels. I was definitely the type of teenager who was not cool. I oftentimes didn't fit the mold that, you know, people wanted me to be. I was very tomboyish, and a lot of people didn't understand that. And so reading this as an adult, I definitely related, for sure. I think my issue though was just it felt so detached. There's some pretty highly emotional things that go on in this book, in this short little book, that it seemed like it didn't affect the characters like you would expect it to. And so it just felt sort of detached for me. I will say the world building is great, and it definitely like is a kind of a teaser and makes you want to read more, because you want to know more about all of these places that these kids have gone to, because some of them are really different and interesting. So yeah, I think though it also had a murder mystery that I wasn't expecting, and that was kind of where I felt it was detached and sort of distant. Because I would like to think that if somebody was murdered at a school I was going to, that would like bring out a lot of emotions, even if you didn't know that person or didn't even like that person. That's like very traumatic and very scary and everything. So I guess I just wanted a little bit more out of it in that regard. But I am still intrigued by the series, even though this was just a 3-star. Especially because book 2 deals with 2 characters from this book, Jack and Jill. They're twins, And you learn, I'm assuming, you learn more about them and the world that they went to. And that really interests me because the world they went to was a dark place. And it was kind of like described in the book as being like, basically like they were like living in a horror movie, which to me, I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds great. And I really liked Jack, one of the twins. I really liked her, and she was probably my favorite character in this book. So I will continue with the series. I will pick up book 2 at some point to kind of see what else is going to happen. But yeah, this one was a 3-star. All right, so that means I'm going to now read Heartstopper Volume 2 because I do need to get it back to the library within a decent amount of time. So I want to definitely knock this one out. Hopefully I can finish this today, just read it in one day. I don't see why I couldn't. I don't have a whole lot going on today. Both of my kids are at school right now, which is really weird. My house is really quiet. And I have a few other like chores to do and stuff, but otherwise I have like so much quiet time. And so I'm gonna read. It's a weird feeling, but I don't hate it, that's for sure. So yeah, I am gonna get this one started, maybe knock it all out in one sitting, I don't know, we'll see. And then I will let you guys know my thoughts on it. So I'm sitting on my stairs because, I don't know, I feel like I always film in the same place and I just wanted a different location to film in, but I finished Heartstopper Volume 2 and I loved it so much. 5 stars. It made me cry. The ending made me cry. Very emotional. This one I just really loved the sort of like evolution, not evolution, just the progression of Nick and Charlie's relationship, and the sorts of, I don't want to say challenges, but just things that they are going through being together. But they're so cute, and it just made my heart so happy, and I loved it so much. So unfortunately, I don't know when I'm going to be able to pick up Volume 3 because my library is like updating its website, and so you cannot put anything on hold via their website, and then you also can't like have them do it because it's all the same system. So if my library does not right now physically have Volume 3 of Heartstopper, then I can't get it until I think it's like September 22nd. So that's like weeks away. But I might have to wait. But I can't wait to get the 3rd volume. I absolutely loved this. It was great. We're in my car, obviously. And you can kind of see the sign back there a little bit. I am heading to 2nd and Charles, about to go in, because I have a couple of books I'm looking for. One of them I can't tell you what it is because it's for my next 100 Epic Reads vlog, and so I don't want to reveal what that book is, but I need to get the book. So I'm going to see if they have a used copy here. And then I'm looking for, because I forgot to mention this, that the kids and I were actually reading A Series of Unfortunate Events, the first book, The Bad Beginning. It was not planned for Series September, but it just kind of worked out that way, and we just finished it, and the kids loved it, and they want to keep going with the series. So I'm going to see if they have maybe like the 2nd and 3rd books, because if I can get those used, that would be awesome, because the like little hardcover versions are really cool, but when you buy them new, they can get kind of expensive, especially when you think about that there's like 13 books in the series. So yeah, if I can get some used, that'd be great. So I'm on the hunt for those, and then kind of just browsing whatever else they have. I do have some books to trade in, and I know like my 2nd and Charles, sorry, I'm moving you around a little bit, they can be a little stingy with how much they give you, but I just want to get rid of these books. So get ready, we're doing a mini haul. Here we go. So this one is what is this called? In the Garden of Beasts by Eric Larson. Somebody gave this to me, like passed it on to me. I want to say it was my grandma, and I don't really want to read it anymore. I don't feel like reading it anymore, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. Then I have a book I didn't like, The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. This was a 2-star read, so I tried to not keep 2-star reads on my shelves, so this is going bye-bye. Then I have 2 books that I DNF'd, one of which is Text Me When You Get Home. I tried to read this recently, and I made it like maybe 50 pages in, didn't like it, so I don't want it. And I also DNF'd The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr., which made me really sad because this was so promising. I thought I was gonna love it, and I made it like halfway through, and it just wasn't for me. And then I have one that I did read, but I just don't want anymore, and that's Annie's Goats by Steve Luxenberg. This was just a 3-star read and just not one that I really want to keep. But I don't know if they'll give me anything for this because it has like a big ugly sticker on the front, and I think it has some water damage. I don't know. It came to me like that, so. And then the last one is actually just a duplicate. The first book in the Land of Stories. This one's The Wishing Spell. This is the Land of Stories series, and I'm getting rid of this one because I bought this one, and then Leia got the whole box set for Christmas from Austin's mom. So now we have 2 copies of this, so because the rest of the series, the box set is all paperbacks, I'm just gonna get rid of this one. So yeah, those I'm hoping to trade in to help pay for the books I'm going to purchase at this moment. So I thought I would take you guys along. Why not? And then I also wanted to report, I have to unbury it because I just buried it with these books. But on the way here, I finished Hollowpox. And did I bring this book so that I could show you in this clip? Yes, I did. But I really enjoyed this. I think this is my favorite in the series so far, which isn't a super surprise because I actually did a video about this a couple years ago where I find that when I read a series where there are more than 3 books in the series, the 3rd book usually tends to be my favorite book, and that seems to be the case here. I think it's because I think by the 3rd book, when you're reading a series, you really start to get attached to the characters and you really start to get a feel for the world. You start to see kind of like the alliances that the main character may have. The overarching story starts to really come together, and all of those things happened here in Hollowpox. I love Morgan Crow. She's the whole reason that I continued with this series, was because I just think she's a great main character, because she is not your typical kind of fantasy middle grade heroine. She is she's sarcastic, she's moody, she has sort of a dark vibe, a kind of like angsty vibe that I just like love, because I definitely could relate to it. I was sort of that way for a time in my like adolescent years. But then there's other characters in here too that I've grown to love. I love Jupiter North, her like mentor. But then even more, some of the other like kind of side characters I've really come to love in this series. The main one here is actually on the cover. This cat here, she is a Magnificat, which means she's like humongous. So yeah, that's not like just part of the cover. She's actually like a giant cat, and they call it a Magnificat, and her name is Fenestra. They call her Fen. She is, if you love cats, you'll love her. She's just everything that you would want. And a character that is a cat. She's just great. I just love her. And then in this one too, like I just really liked how you started to, like, when you're reading a long series like this, because I think this series is going to have 7 books, how you're kind of learning more about just the world. You're learning about Nevermore and some of the sort of inner workings of the world, and the and also the Wondrous Society, which is what she's basically, Morgan is learning to become a member of. So you're just getting more of a feel for the world and starting to become more attached to it. It's all kind of starting to make sense. And so I really love that. And then the like base, like the main plot in this one, besides the overarching plot, dealing with Morgan learning all this new stuff about herself and Nevermore and everything, is that there's this illness called Hollowpox that is new and mysterious, and it is attacking a specific section of the community of Nevermore. And it was really interesting reading this, you know, because we have been living in a pandemic the last 2 years, and so and COVID was, a new illness. Nobody knew much about it when it first hit. It was seeming to hit certain populations more than others. It was a very scary time. And so this is kind of, it kind of felt like that. Like, because the same thing, Holopox is mysterious. People don't really know much about it or how to cure it or anything. And so you're seeing a lot of the things that we lived through, like quarantines and having to stay home, things being canceled, obviously people becoming infected, and things like that. So it was just interesting to read this in this day and age. And I think this book was published in 2020, but I'm not sure, I can't remember when. So I'm pretty sure though that Jessica Townsend wrote this before COVID was a thing. But it's just interesting how much of it I felt like she kind of nailed. And it was really good. It was really good. So yeah, this series I'm definitely like officially hooked now. And the 4th book comes out in October, I believe. So I don't think I'll read it right away. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. So, and then I also just wanted to quickly update you, on the physical book I'm reading, because I don't think I have talked about this at all. I'm actually halfway through Thunderhead, which is the 2nd book in the Arc of the Scythe series. And this series is just so good. Like, I really like it because it's so like thought-provoking, because, you know, it's about a world where death has been eliminated. And with that, there's so many changes to society and just the way people live their lives, because you don't have that fear of dying anymore. This is the whole thing with the Scythes, how they sort of have this power over everyone, because they decide who is going to permanently die, because that's kind of the whole concept, is that they control the population. They have to, because otherwise like the world would be overpopulated. So because no one's dying, they do have to actually kill people. They call it gleaning. And they choose who they're going to glean, and nobody really, they kind of have this all-powerful sort of mentality and existence. And it's kind of, it's interesting, but it's also kind of scary. So yeah, this series is great. It's so thought-provoking, and also entertaining. So I'm really enjoying it. And I will have to let you guys know when I complete it, which hopefully will be very soon, because like I said, I'm already like halfway through it. It's going very well. I can't really talk about the plot because it's directly like the after of the 1st book, and it would be totally spoilery to talk about any plot elements in this, but yeah, it's really good. So yeah, I'm gonna head into 2nd and Charles, hopefully get some books, and yeah, if I get anything, I'll show you guys. Okay, we're back in the car. I'm gonna do a quick haul for you. They gave me like $8 and something for the books I turned in, which was okay. I think that averaged out to be like $1 a book or something. Whatever, it's fine. So, I did find a couple of books from the series of unfortunate events. So I got books 2, 3, and 4. Really exciting. So, funny story I should tell about this really quick. This series has deckled edges, right? And I was reading reviews on, it was either Barnes & Noble's website or Amazon. I was going to buy the box set, and it's just way too expensive. But anyways, there was quite a few reviews where they said that the book was damaged because the pages were like, had funky, uneven edges. And it's like, we all know what this means, right? It's not my favorite, but like I don't care that much, but it's just funny that people thought that the books were damaged when it's like, no, that's just decal edging for you. Anyways, so I got those. I picked up my secret book for my next vlog that I'm not going to tell you about. And then I did get 2 Stephen King books because why not? Why wouldn't I get 2 Stephen King books? So one of them I've actually, let me get rid of this receipt. One of them I've actually already read, but I will definitely read. What is with all these receipts? One of them I have actually already read, but I want to definitely reread because I loved every single novella in this collection, and that's different seasons. And this is in a, you know, not too bad a shape for being like a mass market paperback. And I don't mind mass market paperbacks as long as they're like this and not the tall, weird, skinny ones. I hate those. And then the other one is one I haven't read that is on my, like, I need to read it pretty soon as I'm reading his books in order. And so I got I got Hearts in Atlantis. So this one is this a short story collection? I feel like it is. Or like a novella collection. I don't know. But anyways, I'm going to be reading it soon, so I figured I might as well purchase it. The Stephen King section was really thin. There wasn't a lot there, which is surprising because usually there's tons of Stephen King when you go to like used bookstores and stuff, but it's fine. I still got 2 Stephen King books, so. And then I did look to see if they had any of the Wayward Children's books, the Shauna Maguire books, and I couldn't find a single one, which was so weird. And I feel like I looked everywhere that it would possibly be. I looked in general fiction, I looked in sci-fi fantasy, I looked in the teen, like young adult section, and just the like adult fiction section, just in case, and like I couldn't find any, which I thought was really strange. So either people love those books and keep them all, or it's just not as popular like in bookstores as it is on BookTube. I don't know, but I couldn't find any because I kind of thought about getting the second book because I do think I want to read it, so, but they didn't have it. So anyway, that is it. I am gonna go home and have some lunch because I'm starving, and hopefully I will read some more of Thunderhead. So I just finished Thunderhead, and holy crap, this book was wild. It like took a long time to kind of get going, like, and I was like, probably the first 100 pages or so, I was still like trying to get settled back into like this world and everything. But by the end, the last 100 pages were just bananas. Like, holy crap. And now I'm really like, what the heck is gonna go on in the third book? Because the way this one ended, I just have like no idea what's gonna happen, but it was really good. Like, I was even telling my husband, I really think he would like this series because he tends to like fantasy, sci-fi type stuff. I don't know, I think he would really like this, so I'm gonna try to get him to read these. Yeah, like this one, I just really liked the direction that it took, and like I said though, the ending, that direction was nowhere near what I was expecting. Like it got crazy, and it was really good. But even just again, like I've said before about this series, just like the sorts of just kind of themes that it brings up, it just really makes you think, because yeah, it's just like really thought-provoking, because you have these, you have these scythes who are like all powerful, kind of like nobody can touch them, not even the Thunderhead, which is like, I don't want to say that it's God because it's like artificial intelligence, but it kind of is because it controls everything. And that's how everything is so like harmonious, is because of the Thunderhead. But the Thunderhead and the Scythe are like separate entities, and it's like the separation of Scythe and state. Thunderhead being the state, like it can't do anything about the Scythes. So if the Scythes are not on the up and up, there's nothing that Thunderhead can do. But yeah, and it just like really brings up the question of like, is this sort of society ideal? Is it better to just have death? Just bring death back. Because there are definitely things about this society that are not great. Mainly though being that like, what kind of life do you really live when you know you're never gonna die? I don't know. It's like when you know you're just gonna be around forever, potentially, unless you get gleaned, of course, by a scythe. It's like, I don't know. I feel like people would lose their motivation to live, you know, like what's the point kind of thing. I don't know. So this book was really great. It was really good. 4 stars. 4 stars. I can't wait to read the third one because I have no idea where it's going to go. And so I'm going to finish out this vlog by reading American Vampire Volume 5. This is kind of the last straw for me with this series. Like if this one isn't very good, I think I'm going to be done with the series because the last couple have kind of bored me. So we'll have to see if I enjoy this one. Like I said, if I don't, then I'm going to give up on this series. So I'm probably gonna read this. I don't know if I'll start it tonight, but definitely if I don't finish it tonight, I will definitely finish it tomorrow, and I'll be able to give you guys a final thoughts on this and a closeout to the September vlog. So I finished American Vampire Volume 5, and I have decided to break up with this series. This one was just okay. Every volume has like kind of 2 stories in it, and this one was no different. There were 2 stories. The first story I was just incredibly bored by. I literally was just kind of like looking like, when is it gonna end? Which for a graphic novel should just not happen. And then the second story was good, but also just like, I don't know, it just wasn't enough to like wow me and make me want to go get volume 6. So it's just a shame because this started out really strong, and the whole premise of this series is really interesting because it's about this like American breed of vampire that like emerges in, I want to say it's like the late 1800s, and it's different than your traditional vampire. And then each volume kind of takes place in a different decade, which is interesting. So you're getting a little bit of like what America was like at the time, but then you're getting this vampire story. So the whole premise, super cool. And the first couple volumes were good, and then it just kind of, So yeah. So now I have to decide if I even want to keep these, because I do own volumes 1 through 5, but I'm kind of like, do I want to even keep them, or should I just, you know, put them in a free little library, donate them to my library, go back to Second and Charles and try to sell them? I don't know. I don't know if I want to keep them because I'm not gonna keep going. I don't know. So I gave this 2 stars. I didn't really love it. So I'm breaking up with American Vampire. All right, so this is like my ranking. If I was gonna rank these, all the books that I read for series September. The only one I didn't really mention in this video, I mentioned that the kids and I read it, but I didn't really review it. So maybe I'll talk more about it in my wrap up, but definitely on the top 5 stars was Heartstopper Volume 2. I loved it. So good. I cannot wait to get Volume 3, followed by Hollowpox, which was a 4-star read. Thunderhead was also a 4-star read. Series of Unfortunate Events, number 1, The Bad Beginning, 4-star read. Every Heart a Doorway, 3 stars. American Vampire Volume 5, 2 stars. So all in all, a pretty good stack here by the end of the month. I had wanted to read at least 4 from my original TBR, and that would have been 1, 2, 3, 4. So I did read 4. So the ones that let me go grab them. So the 3 books from my series September stack I did not get to were Patina, Pines, and Pray for Silence. But obviously, like, I still really want to read all of these. I think for sure Pray for Silence is one I might save for the winter time. It just seems like a winter, maybe fall, late fall, wintertime read. And then of course, like, these 2 obviously are also ones I really want to read. Pines, I kind of want to try to wrap up another series or 2 before I start another series, because this is the first book in a series, although this is only a trilogy, so it's not too crazy. And then Patina, obviously, I really want to read. In this one, if I don't get to it before middle grade March, I will definitely be reading it during middle grade March, because that's how I read Ghost, which was the first book, and yeah, so I will definitely be getting to this one in the next few months as well. Okay, so I think all in all, this was a pretty successful series, September. Looking at the bingo board though, I kind of didn't do so great, but I mean, okay, let's see. I did start a series, so there's one. I did get caught up on a series because Hollowpox is the most recent book in the Nevermore series. You Own It, Now Start It. You could also use that. I could also use, I could do a series of unfortunate events for that one, or Every Heart a Doorway. And then like Talk of the Town, I would also probably use Every Heart a Doorway because that series is pretty popular on BookTube. So the ones I didn't do, I didn't get Double It Up, which was to like read 2 books in the same series. Didn't do that. Blast from the Past, I guess I could use Thunderhead for that because like I said in the beginning of this video, I owned that book for like 2 years before finally reading it now. So that's probably, and it's been about 2 years since I read the first book, so I could probably use Thunderhead for that. So okay, I got that one. So I did not get Double It Up. Out of the box, I think that was one to read like a genre you don't normally read, I think was what the prompt was. And I guess technically Heartstopper might count for that because I don't normally read like romances, and that's pretty much what it is. So maybe that works, I don't know. And then Three's a Crowd was to read 3 books by the same series, or I think even by the same author, even if they were different series. I did not get anywhere near that. So, and then Now You Can Watch It. Technically, if I would have watched a series of unfortunate events after reading the first book, I could have used that, but I didn't. So I didn't really get a bingo. But I think I did okay. I think it was fine. So let me know how you guys did for series September. If you took part, did you complete the bingo board or any of the prompts? I would love to know that. Did you complete any series? Did you start any series? Did you break up with any series like I did? Let me know. So that's it. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, and I will talk with you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.